battle as the Texans went to Cincinnati and they defeated the Bengals 30-27. CJ Stroud, Kevin. CJ motherfucking Stroud is putting some respect. Man, he's putting respect on Ohio State quarterbacks' names because the rest before him, not great in the NFL. But CJ,
this was the battle of Ohio State quarterbacks. Don't get it confused. Don't let Toddy get into our head. This was the battle of the Ohio State quarterbacks.
But Toddy said that we can't claim Joe Burrow as you hear him smack his
lips. There in the world, and him in that scarlet red, it's all that matters.
Joe Burrow said he don't claim y'all.
That's fine. We claim it.
Hey, Joe Burrow said he went to school at Ohio State. He just happened to play football at LSU, and that is factual because he didn't see the field when he was at Ohio State, at least in
Who saw the field in front of him again? Can you refresh my memory?
Yeah, I'm not.
Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins. R.I.P.
Gotcha.
Wasn't he behind Barrett for a year?
Yeah, I thought it was J.T. Barrett.
Might have been behind JT Barrett.
I think it might have been JT and then Dwayne. And I think once he lost the tournament, the competition to Dwayne, he left. Which is kind of crazy to think.
Who was the dude that took y'all to the playoff? What was the name?
Cardale Jones.
Cardale. Yeah, that was Cardale.
Yeah, 12 gauge. But anyways, the Texans, they beat the Bengals 30-27. And in this game, CJ Stroud, obviously an Ohio State alumnus, he puts up the OH at the game in front of the Ohio fans there in Cincinnati. And I just thought it was so great. And Tyler Boyd, he drops a touchdown catch that probably could have won the Bengals this game late. So anyways, Kevin, I'm going to toss it to you first. What do you think about CJ Stroud and the Texans beating the Bengals 30-27? Also, without their top receiver. Like the fact that they were able to do it without his starting running back in Pierce, doing it without their top receiver in Dell. Like, what did you think about all of that?
Well, the receiver that didn't play was Nico Collins. So Nico Collins.
Nico Collins. Thank you.
So yeah, Cole Bernard, man. If you've been tuning in week and week out, you've heard me call him Cole Bernard because that's who he is. He's the man, the myth, the legend. Arguably the best rookie quarterback season we've seen in ever since the NFL started. For him to go 23 of 39, 356 yards, averaging 10 yards per pass with one touchdown and a pick that came really late in the game, like Shaun mentioned, they had guys out. They're not making excuses. This coaching staff, D'Amico Ryan is really bringing that energy. You're seeing it throughout the whole players. They believe, man. We're talking about the team with the number 2 pick. Talking about they believe. This time, any other team with the number 2 pick, they're talking about, all right, who's our next lottery pick? They're not playing. They don't have a first-round pick, so they're playing like it. Devin Singletary, for him to have 30 rush yards, 30 attempts for 150 yards is fucking nuts. They were running it down the Bengals' throat, which was crazy to see. But another Ohio State guy in Cleveland, Noah Brown, coming up and playing 7 receptions for 172 yards. He is doing his thing. This offense is playing well, and CJ Stroud is showing that. Arguably, he was the best quarterback prospect, and the Panthers made a mistake. But getting onto the Bengals' perspective, like Shaun mentioned, Tyler Boyd had the game in his hand. The Bengals they went backwards, in my opinion. We've seen for the past couple of weeks the Bengals have come out. They've been very dominant, and they've been doing their thing. They didn't have T. Higgins this week, so I don't really know if that was a reason to play into it. Joe Mixon got going early, but Joe Burrow, he just, those 2 picks were just horrible, just drive kills in the red zone. So for him to turn that ball over and for him to go on the sideline and say, damn, like, I hope CJ gives me the ball back. And for CJ to throw that late pick, for them to go, and then they couldn't capitalize on the touchdown, so they had to settle for 3. And then it all turned around because CJ Stroud went down the field. He is walking the dog. 2-minute drill. He's going to walk that dog wherever he got to go, and he's going to make sure his team gets in the end zone. Tank Dell, a lot of people thought he wasn't going to be a big deal. We talked about the weapons before, and CJ Stroud wasn't going to have any weapons. We talked about Nico Collins. We talked about Noah Brown. We talked about Shaun's guy, Dalton Schultz. Tank Dell, this receiving core is legit. Now they're having a dual backfield with Pierce and Singletary. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the Texans pull it out. And, there's been a lot of MVP talk around my man CJ. So I'm happy to hear it, man. Representing for Ohio State. I know you guys see all the TikToks when it's the little ballet reception and it's just all the sad ones. And at the very end, it's CJ Stroud. And, it's looking good. And I know Tony's going to hate me for saying this, but Marvin Harrison might be playing Kyle McCord to a draft pick.
Toddy, what did you think about the Texans beating the Bengals?
Okay, well, everything that Kevin said up until like the last sentence that he just said when he brought up Kyle McCord and CJ Stroud in the same sentence, they're not even the same universe. Let's get that out the way. CJ Stroud,
Not yet.
They never will be. They never will be. Ever in whatever life that you want to live, over and over, they'll never be in the same.
Hey, Toddy, quick question: who do you hate more, Kyle McCord or Ian Book? Yeah,
that's probably be Ian Book. He's just not.
Toddy hates Ian Book. He doesn't like the guy from Oak Ridge. Anyways, all right. So continue, Toddy. Go ahead.
I mean, CJ Stroud, I've been on record that I've said my first ever bet was on CJ Stroud. And this was a guy who I followed in high school. Finding out later on that he ended up playing in Snoop Dogg's Pop Warner League. And he's from out that way. So he's been a guy that I've already been on my radar, and I knew that he was going to be a baller one way or another. Now, comparing him to other people, guys like Khalil Austin, will say that I was a non-believer in CJ.
Shout out to Khalil.
And
saw him at your baby or I saw him this weekend too.
He brings up screenshots, and I've always told him that he needs to come back on the show, and I'll have Shaun post screenshots of me saying CJ Stroud's not good. This, that, I was comparing them to like other. There's more context that comes to it when comparing.
I'm just gonna sip on my water.
Caleb Williams,
speed hater.
Yeah, okay, whatever. But just going back to the game itself, I mean, CJ has had game-winning drives in like past games, but his defense usually lets him down. And so in this case, CJ had the ball last, and they ended up driving down the field, and they ended up winning the game. And, some luck was involved. Tyler Boyd did have the game in his hands, yes, but ultimately I feel like Kev was saying that this receiving core is legit. I wouldn't say it's okay. I feel like it could be a lot better than it would, but CJ's making it look like.
I'm about to say CJ's making them look legit.
Making them look legit. So, I think the Texans are ecstatic that CJ fell to 2, and he maybe even if Houston would have had the number 1 pick, maybe he goes number 1 overall still. And the Panthers are kind of gritting their teeth a little bit, like, man, did we make the right decision? But at the same time, Bryce is just in a fucked up situation over there. And I feel like a lot of this does have to do with the rock star head coach and DeMeco Ryans, who, Shaun and I have gotten a close-up view for the past couple of years. And we knew from the jump that we had multiple head coaches on our team, and just it was only a matter of time that DeMeco Ryans was going to get a head coaching position. So for CJ to kind of go out there and just absolutely ball week in and week out, it's starting to show that this could be a match made in heaven, and this could be the duo that we see for years to come in Houston. And, CJ and DeMeco are changing the culture in Houston because, for the longest, they were a losing franchise. Yeah, they had the Deshaun Watson era. But pretty much after, a couple of years, that kind of went down. There's been a dark cloud over that franchise ever since, Deshaun Watson left. So for CJ to kind of come in and kind of change the culture and bring back that, winning mentality that they once had, it's refreshing to see. And this is a team that they're 5-4 right now. Can they win the AFC South? I think that answer is definitely yes.
Yeah, they already won in Jacksonville and beat them.
They already have a win over in Jacksonville. And so it's just, I feel like the thing that will be holding this team back is the defense, because the defense just tends to not be able to stop anybody. And I feel like if you give Coleridge that, if they give him that advantage to be like, hey, we can get a stop on defense, at least get situational stops to where I don't want CJ to have to go out there and get into shootouts all the time. Maybe just go out there, get these situational stops, and be able to win games, early on, and to kind of have them be comfortable in a sense. But I don't think that this defense is there yet. And we know that DeMeco Ryans is a defensive head coach. So I feel like the defense is a couple of years away, and we would have thought that the defense would be kind of on point with DeMeco Ryans being the head coach. But it's kind of the opposite. The offense is on point, and now the defense kind of has to catch up. And even itself out for this team to be really balanced. So this team is relying on a rookie quarterback to kind of go out there and win games. And he's been out there showing and proving everybody that he's able to do it. And like Kevin was saying, people put him in the MVP conversation, which is crazy for the last rookie player to win the MVP was Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
So,
man, I thought that was about to be Toddy's pop quiz. I was about to nail it. Kevin, you're muted.
Do you know the last rookie to get a vote since Jim Brown?
I have no idea.
Ooh.
Is Andrew Luck?
No, that's a better question. Go ahead. Who is it?
Dan Marino.
Oh.
Dan Marino. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Good company.
Very good company. And the Texans are honestly quickly becoming sneakily my favorite AFC team.
They play Arizona this week, so that's going to be a good game to watch.
Yeah, like I used to say that the Broncos were my favorite AFC team just because I have family who live in Colorado and are Broncos fans. But I mean, ever since Russ has gotten there, like tonight might be the highlight of his entire tenure there, getting a win on Monday Night Football against the Bills. And so it's kind of hard to root for a stinky team that's not even your actual team. And so I'm kind of at the point where I'm hopping on the Texans bandwagon. Toddy knows that I was on the Bills bandwagon for several years. And now I think I might be on the Texans bandwagon because I guess at this point, no one's going to circle the wagons like the Houston Texans. So I love seeing it. I love seeing D'Amico thrive as well as CJ. And as I said earlier to Kevin, CJ's putting respect on the lineage of Ohio State quarterbacks that have been slandered for years. And even though Kevin is no longer the president of the Justin Fields fan club, Justin still needs to get healthy. But I am now the proud president of the Justin Fields fan club.
Oh, you gave it to Shaun.
Yeah, man, I had to step down, bro. I had seen enough after 3 games.
I took over, and I'm still hopeful that Justin will join CJ in the club of serviceable NFL quarterbacks from Ohio State. CJ is obviously much more than that at this point, but we shall see. I just love to see it. And now